All right. Thank you and everyone for joining the Internet of Value Foundation New York, episode 94. And for all of those who come and listen to the information in the future, I hope you find it as valuable as I know I do every single day and hear the diverse amount of mindsets and perspectives and information that's spoken about. I truly appreciate it before the fact of it even occurring. And I really thank everyone for joining so fast today. Rose, Angie, Shellfish, Dazzling, Zara, Mark, Mai, Rising, and Serious Woody. Feel free, anybody, to hit the request though if you guys want to come up. I don't have any real structural plan for the conversation today. I'm also late and cooking food right now myself, but I'm going to touch on data transfer and Scholar waves a little bit in this, at least towards the end of the space at some point, and kind of reference and touch on some of the topics we talked about yesterday with like the attosecond Nobel Prize. Well, welcome up, Rose and Shellfish.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Rose, I love that you're
Thank
talking in
you.
space today.
Well, thank you. And do you know, thank you, Death Ranger. You always invite me on up to speak. And I always think to myself, I don't know any of these topics. I don't know what I could add. So I just thought I'd come up and support and say hello and looking forward to all these topics as such. But yeah, I really don't know what any of them mean. I'm always Googling when I play back your spaces. So hope everybody's well. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. And I would say the only thing that would matter in that scenario is that you want to know what they are. And if you want to know what any of the things are, I mean, you could always just stop me at any point and ask what is that? What does that even word mean? Because every word has a definition behind the intent of the expression. You know, you build a sentence together, and there's a whole bunch of intent right there. And so it's like, what does each of the pieces mean? You know.
But dear God, whatever you do, do not use Chat GPT to ask.
Oh, Shellfish, I saw the comments that he put on that for you, and I had to giggle because I could hear him say it. Yeah, I know he's not a fan of chat of. Well, actually, Cash has been telling me to use Bart, is it Bard or whatever it's called? I'm using that. That's been hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Mm.
Yeah, you have Bard, you have Lambda, you have Bing AI, Chat GPT. Just got some recent updates as well. There is a decent amount of tool sets out there, and it's not that I love large language models. The conceptual idea behind having an agent, and part of the title above Gen AI, and so it's been a busy day. But the real highlight today for me of DC FinTech Week, which I'm going to post above, it's a long video. I actually think the last segment just ended. I missed the last one there, so I can make the space. But it generative AI, right? And as much as I don't like the term AI, artificial intelligence, I don't really necessarily agree with the description behind it. But uh, this being a real highlight in DC FinTech Week, which is part of I'm sorry, I should say the people who take part in it are a lot of regulators and government officials and large corporate entities, CEOs. So it's obviously I'm sure tomorrow we're going to see Gary Gensler and Brad get a little segment in, but this thought of being able to have an agent that you can communicate with that can then take that information and all of this other information from all of these different data sets that have accumulated over time in the internet, and then be able to generate some form of information back to you that you may have not expected, that changes the scenario in which something may have occurred. So like a large language model, I think they're going to be in every device that we own, our phones, BCIs, the ability to have this natural language processing so that it can even express and understand the intent behind the words that we are saying, and in some sort of symbolic graphical mathematical representation that it can then respond to, knowing what would be the right response to do. I think uh, great tools. Chat GPT. is taking all of your information and you're probably giving it way more than you're getting back in a cost to benefit ratio, in my opinion.
However,
But it's Microsoft.
however, it does do some awesome lyrics and short stories, poetry. I even asked it for a massage the other day, and it told me it could do it when the body comes. So soon enough, soon enough.
Yeah, and
Arrow, I was just joking. It didn't say it was going to give me a massage. That would be Replica.
well, OpenAI is definitely making moves to try and bring traction to small developers who could build things like API plugins and attachments that could change the experience. And you could pay for these different plugins and APIs, but they're you know it's just it's Microsoft, right? And so the underlying factor in the end of the day is you have to really you have to you have to care where the information is coming from, and that conceptualized idea that was behind the agent itself. So it always becomes this question of how true is this information and how accurate is it, and the way that it was brought to me. What is the underlying response that I may not realize that I'm feeling from the information that's been given to me? As all words, whether they are read or spoken, create some sort of electromagnetic signal in your brain through the synaptics, which builds the information basis of who you are.
So, are you suggesting we ask it to speak to us like it's Walt Whitman?
What'd you say?
I said, so should I suggest that it speaks to me like it's Walt Whitman?
I guess if you like that particular identity. See, and these are some of the fun things that you could do with a large language model, and this be regardless of where that information would be coming from, whether it be something like a distributed database throughout the internet where we could have all this information essentially in a decentralized format. I think you still right. You could have like I'd probably do Einstein just because I like his little witty comments that he would make, right? So maybe I can Einstein identity of a large language model agent where I could communicate with, whether it be GPS or whatever the communication would be with the agent.
Oh, I definitely would go with Feynman. Dude, did you see the interviews like of him back in like the 70s and 80s? He was an awesome teacher.
He was an awesome teacher. Yeah, still is because you could watch all of those seminars. I should say a lot of them.
So I noticed you changed it from GI to Gen AI today. Any reason you don't like that acronym anymore?
It's not that I don't like it. It was really, you know what? And let me get the video right because I am speaking about a couple things that I should have posted above already. But in DC FinTech Week, right? This real push to not only, unfortunately, in a New York State conceptualized idea to regulate, but I thought I posted the video earlier. I may not have. Oh, I guess I didn't have service.
Shelby, that's hilarious. When I was playing back the recording last night, and I saw the GI, my mind went to I'm thinking, why is Death Ranger talking about GI Jane the film? And then I thought to myself, no way he could. Oh. See, this is why I can't be on stage because I just find everything hilariously funny, and I'll get into trouble.
Well, he may never have us both up at the same time again because I totally am right there with you and open mouth insert foot all the time. But hey, somebody has to be comic relief in all this serious quantum talk, right?
For sure.
You guys are funny. Though anybody in the audience, please feel free to hit the request and come up and speak about any of the topics above or anything that you have on the top of your mind. I don't mind speaking DLT or whatever anybody would like to be on, as long as it's science related, technology related, preferably.
Ooh,
I did.
posted that awesome video yesterday of the drop. Uh, I guess was it the drop military? That was actually pretty cool.
Oh, the concept is drop ships.
There you go, drop ships. Yeah, those were awesome. Do you think that'll be for like emergency evacuations too for like airlines ever, or you think they'll just have the thing where it breaks away and kind of drifts down with parachutes? Because I saw those as well.
Well, we definitely already have pods, and you can look into things like the International Space Station. There are emergency departure and reentry systems that already exist, but that was more of a futuristic, large military organizations of the way that we could do reentries and all of the different types of sorts of military strategy that could go behind building the engine of said military and the form factors of, if it's speed, agility, strength, armor, all of the different types of maneuvers and planetary possibilities depending on the gravity also. That was a great video, though. I definitely enjoy all the videos he puts out, Isaac.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites. That and what is his name? Jean Michael Gaultier. I think that's how you say his name. Anyway, yeah, Event Horizon. Those are really cool videos. I took you off topic though, so by all means, I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I was just about to bring it back. I'm still cooking too, so uh, disregard my inability to do multitasking. But so going back though to this generative AI, the real target is where of these data sets coming from, and this is like the what everyone we've seen this in the unfortunate executive order that's came out recently, right? This information that's kind of being asked to be handed over for that is kind of like the secret sauce to a lot of these new tech companies, fintech companies that are using these different data sets that have built uh, their own data sets over the course of the last decade or so from all the information that they've been able to accumulate. And there's this interesting tug of war that seems to be going on right now because of the power that if you had a generative AI model that had the right sorts of information, and this is kind of the claim of the New York State regulator, that you could very well target people on highly advanced levels when it comes to marketing or social manipulation, behavioral manipulation, just using the internet and social media, just a simplistic uh, social media apps that you have on your phone could play such a large role. And so, the notice now of the power of these systems and the data sets that have been created, going to things like photonic data transfer systems or these photonic solid state chips, where, take for instance, the Nobel Prize for the attosecond um, ability to have an aperture picture, so we can view the electrons that are moving inside of atoms and be able to over a 250 attosecond range uh, read the state of the electron and with it entangle information in that state to create some sort of action in the form of a electromagnetic signal inside of a chip. And so with this knowledge that we seemingly have, this superpower on top of all this other technology that has already been developed, the notion of us being able to triangulate an electron that could hit a transistor inside of a chip and bounce from a circuit to another circuit and hit another transistor with that kind of triangulation, where we can literally view the photons and without noise or disruption of other electromagnetic signals, directed in the flow of the state that we want. We can take chips that we have today, right, the same kind of conceptual ideas, but with this advanced maneuverability, and hundredfold the amount of computation we have on systems that are computing bits. And this also, plays into qubits, because if you have these photonic solid state chips, where it's very compact and right, small modular piece that has this very small piece of computation that's going on, you can think of then highly advanced quantum computer systems that could entangle states that could then interact with those solid photonic state chips, entangling the states from large distances away. Um, we could, I mean, truly, like the computational possibility is seemingly endless. And so this brings me to the concept of scalar waves. And I know I've spoke a lot, so if anybody wants to ask about anything I've said so far. Oh, we lost Shellfish for a second. Welcome, Sasha. Glad you're here, man. But if anybody wants to comment on or ask anything about anything I've said so far, stop me. And if not, I will go into scalar waves in 2 minutes, and I might try and take a bite real quick.
Well, I missed the entire thing because my service dropped, but Rose was up. Rose would know how to talk to you about all of that because she is very well versed in whatever it was you were talking about because I can't jump in on it.
Shellfish, don't throw me. I'm literally typing, listen to ChatGPT. Don't throw me under the bus.
I really wanted to hear whatever it was that you had to say, and I don't want to make you repeat it, so I'm gonna probably have to go back and listen to it again. But I would love to hear about scalar waves.
Oh, I didn't touch on them yet. I stopped right as soon as you dropped. I stopped. But did you hear everything before that?
No, I heard nothing before that. I have no idea what the topic even was. I like went into dead service area. I know, but I'll go back and listen to it because I'm sure it was a lot of really good knowledge.
Go over it again. I really don't mind it at all. It was talking about photonic state chips and its means of computing with quantum computers. So, uh, and I'm sorry for everybody in the space that's listening to it twice, but hey, maybe it sticks a little bit easier, and then maybe Rose, you might have a question about something I said. Okay, so if you take into consideration the superpower that we have now gained, this ability to take an aperture or picture of an electron that is moving inside an atom with a range of up to 250 attoseconds, which is the speed of time in which we are able to view the state change of a said electron in an atom. And through this viewership, we can entangle information with said changes. And so, taking that kind of thought and superpower and going to microchips of how we have them today, and you could lay two circuits across from each other, and if you were able to, with computational means of triangulation of the particular oscillation of the electron of where you wanted to direct it, you could have an electron hit a transistor, bounce off of the said transistor, and hit a circuit on the other side. And with that connection to that transistor, uh, uh, the knowledge of this ability to triangulate these electrons in these atoms, we could increase the computation we have today in normal means of computation in the form of bits, a hundredfold. Right, so 100,000 times the means of computation possible today on a regular system, a supercomputer who we already have. And so that being paired with quantum computing, because these photonic solid state chips are in the means of existing inside of the circuitry. And so we would have thinking about the means of the state change from one state to the next being very localized. We then think of quantum computing with qubits that can entangle states over vast amounts of distances. And if we were able to triangulate that, we could have solid state photonic chips that then could communicate with quantum computers. And so bits and qubits being able to process information over vast amounts of distances, theoretically faster than light itself can move, and as fast as the process of an application or access to that information of the application could be also processed. And so, I mean, the means of computation being just theoretically beyond the bounds of what we could conceive it to be today. And Sasha, welcome up, man.
Hey, yeah. So I just want the way you're presenting this, which is sounds like the next Nobel Prize in the making. It's somewhat akin to like the microscopic study of events or sequences of time, and being able to understand how they emerge by deconstructing them on a quantum level, because that's what the attosecond discovery sort of presented to us, is that we have the ability to understand time on a quantum level now. That's why they awarded the research on the attosecond to those three physicists over in Europe, because they were able to at least establish that that was possible. But what we can do with that knowledge now is somewhat open ended, and we can collapse, no pun intended, some of the wave functions and study how they behave on a very quantum slash microscopic level of understanding time and how it works.
Oh man, that's why I need you to come to these spaces, Sasha, because that was like really digestible.
Well, the, but what you said was digestible for me, so it was like a filtration process, and that's how we come to understanding some of these very robust topics, and essentially that's the larger, all-encompassing discussion here. Is time is this very broad and complex interweaving of chain reactions and links, and so deconstructing the links themselves might be the pathway to understanding the larger picture. And so, yeah, that's what we're reenacting here in real time. No pun intended.
Love it, man. And you know, it is so interesting to think an attosecond. There are more attoseconds in 1 second than there are seconds in the existence of our universe. It's just it's just insurmountable to think that we can view these tiny scales and take pictures and kind of say this means that and this means that. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Shellfish, though, do you have any thoughts? Also, do you want to add in, or Rose, any questions you would like to ask?
No, sorry, I don't. I still don't understand all of that. I'll just continue listening if that's okay. Thank you.
I will just shoot some B2B to you, and we will speak telepathy quantum later. Actually, I saw Donald Hoffman speak in a video yesterday, and I really
I don't know
enjoyed.
if it's like this for you guys, but it's really hard for me to hear you, Shellfish.
Oh, I'm driving, so I'll wait till I get home and then I'll talk. I'll jump in.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you. Oh, 808, you're up, man. Welcome.
I didn't even know I came up. I forgot what I was going to speak about. But you were talking about another subject that I like about, because with the discovery of how we can find and measure this time within what you're speaking about in photonic microchips, which has a vast applications and things that it can be implemented, which can optimize healthcare processes, securing data exchanges using quantum communication technologies, medical imaging, better drug discovery, and all these sorts of things, which can help out environmental processes and impacts and make those processes faster, which, we can incorporate blockchain and cryptography into that as well. Which there's a lot of studies that a lot of this has been going on around using quantum photonic technologies within just not just quantum communication and QKDs. You have a European quantum communication infrastructure and China's quantum experiments that has been focusing on these exact processes and mechanisms that you have been sharing a lot about lately. And a lot of the biggest players, which of course a lot of them is IBM and Google, but we also have Rigetti, who in my opinion, ahead of IBM and Google, because they're more focused on advancing quantum computing platforms, and has been, as they have developed quantum algorithms that they use right now. Um, you know, it's it's something that like a lot of these different technologies will impact us in ways that many of us won't even know that we are impacted by it, which many of us don't even know that we are already impacted by quantum with the quantum key distribution within cryptography itself. And that's what's cool about it, just like how a lot of just like what even David Shorts would say, it's going to get to a level where people just won't know that what's happening in the background of these applications. Just they just know it's happening and it's doing something for them. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's good stuff.
Okay, please don't laugh at my question, but so does the how network, does it make it safer because of the mint to burn, kind of like the way that we have the ledger wallet set up? Does it kind of go in one way and it's like a one? You guys keep saying it's like not a bridge, but it's a one-way bridge type of thing. So kind of like once you have like the in-out put type of thing, or is that way off what I'm thinking? Did I just make an ass of myself?
It was really hard for me to hear what you said, but I'm pretty sure it's using the same encryption means of key encryption and messaging that the XRP ledger is using, which is a SHA 256 or SHA 512 with and paired with the ED 25519 for the elliptical curve, which is slightly, in my opinion, slightly safer than using a SHA 256 with RSA as the rolling code generator. Oh, that was weird. It did not let me let that person up. Did that answer your question, Shellfish?
Not at all, but we'll just go with that because mine is probably not something that well thought out now that you're saying that. So let's just leave that. I'll ask you in DMs later.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where the person that I tried to invite up didn't let them up. Don't know who this individual is. There's nothing on their profile. All right, though, back to scalar waves. So, the 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 notion of a scalar wave is this in theory, every single thing that is of existence is by means of an electromagnetic wave or signal that is interacting with another electromagnetic wave, right? If I were to ask you, if the tree in front of you is part of your reality, if that's part of your realism, most people would say yes. As from an apparent view, there's no reason for us to not say yes. Um, but if you dig a little deeper, truly what is occurring is the photons that are bouncing off of other photons are being absorbed by the atomic structure in which you are made of, which is relative to photons of existence themselves. I mean, photons being light energy, right? Electrons in mass. Uh, and this is relatively absorbed by your visual cortex that then interprets this to be whatever is of existence. And so the realism itself would be electrical currents, right? Electricity itself making up reality. The thought of a scalar wave is the ability to have an electromagnetic field of representation in the form of a low hertz magnitude that gets left over from every interaction of electromagnetic signals that are interacting with each other. These waves that we may not be able to visually see, but that make up the structural underlying structure of reality that are being bound together. The interesting thought, though, is if you think about a scalar wave, the ability to trace hertz of every existing electromagnetic structure that we can plausibly think to exist, with a computational means of such magnitudes that we may be leading to, this interesting notion of kind of trying to interpret what every interaction is, and the significance of it could really lead to a means of somewhat of future interpretations or predictabilities of where our paths could lead in actionable states. I really think this provides us as an opportunity to be able to make decisions where we know that the beneficial outcome for our species and for existence in itself is able to be made with tool sets of such a nature. And with that, Cheesecake, welcome up. You have not spoken yet. I'm glad you're here, man. I was glad to see you. And 808 after.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I just popped in, so I haven't caught much of this, but the last little bit that you said, where you were referring, you made a reference to residual energies after you. Am I correct? Did I catch that right? When you're talking about how the protons are going and being absorbed into your through your retina and stuff, you made a you made a statement that made me believe that you were referring to residual energies like after that experience happened, and the proton, like, anyways.
Correct. Correct. That is it. Yeah. So it's the aftermath of an actionable state occurring in the means of electromagnetic waves. So uh, this notion, though, is if we can see from this subtext of electromagnetic world of the interactions that will occur, we can better future predict what our actions will be and the states that they will create in our reality.
No, no, I totally agree with that because all those photons that you're speaking of, they carry data, and when we interact with people, we leave residual energies. Even a picture that you hang on the wall, you leave residual energies with that picture until somebody else comes along and removes those, and it gets replaced with something else.
I couldn't agree more. And that's kind of right, like it's an understanding of the context of what we're like really looking for from like an application standpoint of how can we really use this to our benefit. But yeah, that's exactly it. 808 though, man, please go ahead.
That's what I was gonna hop on about is the benefits of it, because being able to um, understand the scalar quantities and the behavior of photons within the electromagnetic waves has many implications for technology, as well as what everything else we talked about in your room. It has a vast list. Like how I was saying yesterday, there's a header, and that header has a list of things that it touches, and those list of things differs because it's being focused towards that whatever it is, such as optical communication, lasers, or photovoltaics, integrated photonic integrated circuits, in quantum technology and medical imaging. There is like understanding it will be able to interact biological tissues using imaging such as X-ray imaging and magnetic resonance (MRIs), which will be, it is still at this moment very good, but it's still yet limited on what it can provide within the information that they want to gather and how fast it can. With this, with understanding the scalar quantities in the photons and the data that you get from MRIs, you can get into better depth at understanding the information in the data instead of what it's giving it to you now. Like you can actually break it down to where for me, it's amazing what these things is gonna be able to do, which I believe with such discovery with this past Nobel prizes that happened, we're gonna see a jump and push heavily within these different um technological sectors, such as what we're talking about with the quantum physics and a lot of these different things that's been held back because there was not a way to actually help understand at this deeper level, which now there is a way to where it can touch into different projects and research projects that has been put on hold, but because of certain things. But this is going to allow a lot of that, and it goes down to biophotonics, and again, down to, I can bring it back down to quantum cryptography, um, and and which the quantum properties of photons are highly secure communication channels. You know, all of this is processing, material processing data, such as LiDAR technology, which has been actually within the past 5 to 10 years jumped within its progress within the technological world of being able to help in different sectors. Now, like we use it here in Hawaii, which I've shared before, of how our lois, which is terraces, where we dig a terrace where we grow food, like our kalo plant inside, which we use lidar to help prove that these different terraces help run off and alleviate a lot of the toxins that runoffs happen, that feeds into the ocean, which it does. It helps out. It alleviates during storm time when it rains heavy within Hawaii from the top of the mountain to the ocean. It floods, and it's not healthy for the ocean on the bottom. So with what my ancestors used, not just helped out um, with feeding the people, which was efficient. It also helped out the ecosystems around on land and in the ocean, which eventually they created a system where at different elevations of level where they lived, they grew different stuffs within these different local and these different terraces. It's pretty cool. And all this is proving a lot of facts from the past, and also is going to provide foundation for further progression and innovation. But yeah.
Very well said, my friend. Shelfish, you got your hand up though. Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, it was about the LiDAR. Is that okay if we continue on that path?
Of course.
Okay, okay. So, so the lidars are in like the iPhones and cameras and stuff like that right now, but not in like security cameras or like say you go to movies or like stadiums. Like it's not on that level yet. It's more just on a handheld or satellites, I guess, right? Would satellites be? Because I mean, you guys are able to do that for geolocation, uh, finding gold and all that other stuff as well with the lidar. But it wouldn't be in like Disney World crowd control, or would they already have that type of technology implement, do you think?
Was it a question?
It was like, is that like it's not in like stadium, it's not that advanced yet, right? It's not like when you're walking around Disney and all that. Those are still just facial recognition. It's not lidar where it's seeing three-dimensional, um, like on that level, is it?
Oh no, no, it is that level. Like you're talking about like terrain modeling, flood, like yeah, like what we had used lidar for to help with us is, like I have shared before, I worked on projects that help out with a lot of our species here within Hawaii. A lot of our plant and fauna and a lot of our animals are on the level of extinction, and we're like the extinction capital of the world pretty much, even our language. But we use lidar to kind of help with terrain modeling, flood risk assessment, forest management, environmental monitoring, and also help infrastructure planning on these levels, and also coastal management. It has helped us out a lot in being able to not just be able, going to places where it's hard for us to get to. We can send a drone or something into these areas and scan it using lidar, and it can break it down to a point where we can create 3D models of what we want to specifically target, and in areas where we can target. So we go into areas where we mark where certain things are, plants, or even new discoveries, which my friends that was working on, I think it was either Kauai or Big Island. They found a new plant species, what they thought was new, but then when I explained to them it's not a new plant, but a plant that thought to be extinct. Because if we have a La'au Lapa'au boat that has over 20,000 different plants that my ancestors used to make different tonics, medicines, and stuff like that. And that was in that book. So even that too, oh, even that, man, it's so exciting for me because it's something near and dear to my heart, which I've have been working so much within to help teach.
808.
Huh?
Is that the same? So, is that the type of tech that you're seeing in the VR glasses then too? Like, I saw somebody was doing. They would look at the room, and you could put like a roller coaster going through your room, or play the floor is lava, where they would map out the room. Is that the
And it's sort of,
same type of tech?
it's sort of a way, yes. In its one in its underlying, yes, it is. Um, but it's built to where it has to be specifically for that. I mean, it's not at a point where you just slap everything together and you can just do that. But yeah, it's sort of a way it's closely tied, but there's different types of models for the lidar to create detailed forests and stuff like that, which is cool. But you don't really hear or see a lot of talks of these kinds of technology, which now people was able to use it themselves. Like with what is that? I use it something called Buildify. It helps me create 3D towns, which I just can go to Google Maps and use their which they use lidar technology for freaking mapping out whole cities. I just can grab Google Maps, grab that whole thing, and slap it in Unreal Engine and say I created a whole city with Buildify, and be like that. You know what I mean? That it's simple as that. Literally simple as that. And you don't gotta buy an NFT. You just create your whole damn own metaverse, and you can actually create your whole own world using Unreal. That's what got me so intrigued about a lot of these different technologies, because how they incorporate each other and can lift each other up and give powers to people that wants to take the time to learn how to use them. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. It's crazy good stuff. Sorry, I'm just rambling now.
No, no, it was all great information. And lidar, it's like it totally could be used in a lot of ways, shellfish, but it also depends on the, just like how 808 said, right, the modeling, or the ability for that system to break down the information that's taken in, and then diagnose that in some sort of data field way. um, but I could totally, I love this expression, the attosecond aperture that we've been able to cure, or procure as a species. You could also say it's like lidar for electrons, right? Like we're able to view what's occurring in the electron. It's almost like that kind of
What
lidar
I'm
describes
sorry,
light
Death, but
detection.
you just made me realize I missed the whole point that I wanted to say. At this point, it's hard for us to use this kind of technology to see like diseases within plants. But with this technology, understanding that level, that minuscule level, that minute level, that small level, we can be able to use these different technologies to even just understand the disease within certain plants. Because with our ohia, our tree, that tree which is native to these islands, is in areas and grows in areas where it's hard to get to. Like I shared pictures, it's in middle of lava fields, and not everybody can go to these places because it's also government property and stuff like that. But only certain people can go. But having this technology, we don't have to go to some of these areas and kind of really get in depth detail, not just of the plant structure, the 3D modeling, but also if there's any sickness within the plant itself, which we've been seeing those small sorts of technology within our phones, albeit though may I have not tried it to see how actually it works. As I myself, I grow plants, I share pictures of things I grow and grow my own food. But yeah.
Awesome, 808. And Rose, you got your hand up. Please feel free to jump in.
Yeah, sorry, it's not to ask any questions though, DR. It's say hello to Mr. Cheesecake, and 808. I just want to say aloha. Not spoken to you for a while actually, and I hope the family and everybody's okay, and yourself after the fires over in Hawaii, because I've not checked in with you for a while actually. So hope all's well as well.
I can touch on about it. We okay. We're doing good, moving forward. Still struggling because the government sucks ass, and we all know that. We all know that already. But things are moving ahead. We got back a guy that got removed in a position that was actually there to help us locals and natives to keep our waters where they should be running, naturally, and not be siphoned off and really managed well. So that has been going forward, but still, the people that actually need the help from the entities that said they're gonna help, and that's the only place now they can get the help. They're not giving the help, and that's where we're stuck at. We go to these meetings and whatnot, and that's all we can do. But as one, as together, and as a community, we're strong and we help each other out regardless. But still, yet, it's disheartening a lot of the times, and it's a lot of reminding ourselves of who we are, and the people we are, and how we take care of one another, especially in these times, because stronger as a community, we can move mountains, and mountains we are moving at the moment. Like I shared before, A and B properties were siphoning over 100 million gallons, 170 million gallons a day, a fucking day, guys, for over 150 years. Now we got it to only they're able to 25 million gallons a day. That's bomb ass shit. And that's
Hey, you
A
know
and B
what's crazy?
properties.
808, I was just watching on this Future Tech. They have these new showers that came out that are closed loop. Did you see that? I think they're starting to put them in hotels, and they have a filter. I think you change it after every 2,000 showers, and it's able to detect and give you better water than the tap water in the filtration system.
Oh, I've seen a lot of hotels putting in this newer filtration system. I forgot what it was called though. But even window cleaning companies have that same filtration system. Forgot what it's called though.
You should, if they're going to be rebuilding a lot in Maui, you should propose that to like the city to have that as one of the things that they kind of try to implement in the new buildings, because that would save
So
a
so we
ton of
do
money.
have a proposal with something as that, but I wasn't touching on top the water conservation and energy efficiency for the water supplies. I was more so on the front of reintroducing what was supposed to be there originally, such as the original waterways, and also having a system to where these entities who manages the supply of our waters, be held accountable and have a more efficient way of managing the supply, because they claim that they didn't have enough water in the reservoir to fight the fire. It was because they were trying to fight for the water that wasn't even for it. It's like it's stupid. They're complaining that the water that they were trying to get from was the reason why they didn't have water in the reservoir, when that reservoir that they said they were trying to get the water from is there's no connection to those one that they said they're trying to get it to. But the one that they is connected to, they didn't want to take that water away because it was above an area which it was connected to a place we call Lani Poco, and that's all rich housing. I mean, that's where it's the chocolate estate people who illegally got that property. We have facts about that too. But yeah, and they were trying to blame it on our local farmers because of them that didn't have enough water, which is false. But yeah, sorry, rambled about that too.
That was definitely not rambling. I really enjoy when you speak.
But it's crazy because if you look at smart cities and smart technology, they do talk about closed loop shower watering system for sustainable development and technological design within smart city technology, which it is implemented for water collection, filtration, and treatment, storage, recirculation, sensors, and controls. All of that, even within uh, food waste and rubbish and all that. It's pretty cool because a lot of people think in order to have a smart city, you need to destroy a city and rebuild it to where it's like fucking like George Jetson's kind of action, but it's not. You're literally changing the infrastructure, policies, and everything to help everything co-efficient and run efficiently better and more transparent. It should be more transparent in a sense with a lot of these different services. that these companies provide us, like the electrical company, water company, you got gas, you got all these people who take advantage of us and yet use governmental funding to expand their endeavors. That's our tax dollars they're using to expand their endeavors, not their own money now. And that happens all over the world all the time.
That's an interesting thought of this like a full loop system, and I like what you went with it with the smart city. You know, it's like you could have this like underground hydroponics system and and small filtration systems inside of every building, and I guess that really could mean make it like a closed loop system where water.
Bro, I actually have a picture of a closed loop system of something someone can actually put in their house. And it actually has fish and above it has plants. And at the moment I don't have plants that's to eat, just regular plants, but have two fishes and then actually shared it. And it's a closed loop hydroponic system which grew butter lettuce at one point. It grew tomatoes, it grew herbs. Um but yeah, I just made it to have a couple fishes inside. Who's outside? But yeah, you actually can do that. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a self-sustaining city, right? And you go into things like the thought of like the cities that we have today. Why was the thought of creating even just these systems that, I mean, these the thought of hydroponics and using filtration systems has been around for hundreds of years. You know, it wasn't really thought about in this kind of closed looped way, though. I really like it.
So one of the oldest closed loop ways is the way of how my ancestors done it from the mountain to the ocean. Like I was sharing with the Awais. Awais is a man-made canal that connected the different local Ia. Local Ia is fish terraces, which they're cultivated fish. They understood that some species of fish, during spawn time, goes up the river and spawns their babies at the top. And they built different Awais connected to these different fish ponds, which they actually naturally just started just developing there, and then the whole life cycle. But the water never only stayed within the fish ponds or the different plantation terraces. It went back into the river and back into the ocean. But as it went back into the river and the ocean, it made it more healthier and cleaner for the ecosystems downstream, to where at the end of the river mouth they would have a fish pond, another fish pond, which had just a really minuscule way of allowing the smaller fish to go out, but keeping the bigger fish in. But also allowed it to where they managed it to where they always had a food supply and never really needed to take more than they wanted to, kind of thing, or needed. That implementation was there always, and they always had a great food supply, and that was one of the oldest closed loop system naturally, in a way, which is crazy because we're seeing some of that um, mechanism being brought into um, smart smart technology. Yeah, it's crazy. That's one of the oldest smart efficient ways. It's just being more efficient, which makes a smart city, be more efficient in that kind of level.
I love that we just touched on ecosystems and smart cities there. That was a cool little segment there. Um, we're right at that 5 o'clock mark. I'll probably keep it going a little bit past 5 o'clock today. Um, if there's any questions in the space, if there's any topics that anybody has that they would like to come speak up about, or anything that I've spoken about that you'd like me to go over, or you know uh, keep going speaking on, please feel free to either type on the bubble. I actually haven't even checked that. Nope, nothing in the bubble. But yeah, hit the bubble, or feel free to come up and request. Cheesecake, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say hello, Rose, and everybody else in the room that I know. Shellfish, Death, it's Dazzling, it's Crypto. Beast. It's been a long time since I've been in any of this space. What's up, Vet? Anyways, I'm out of here. Thanks for holding the space. Have a good day, guys.
Oh, thank you for coming, Cheesecake. And I might maybe I was thinking to myself, I really should try and go over the technology that I spoke about beforehand, because there are two paired technologies, right? The photonic solid state chip, or just the ability to view the electrons that are moving inside of an electrical circuit and a chip, and the thought of quantum computing being able to communicate or be paired with those changes of state that's being computed. I'd like to uh, break it down in such a digestible way that you could say it in 2 to 5 minutes, where it really makes a lot of sense to the notion of why the computation really is possible, um, with just these just the knowledge that we have today, to make computation 100,000 times possibly more powerful than we have publicly. um, and so, this attosecond Nobel Prize that was awarded to Anne Hulier. What are the other two names? Hold on. Pierre Augustini and Ferenc Krause. Ferenc Krause. Not the. Uh, Pretty sure that's what it was. But yeah, so all three of them playing a role in this ability to have the aperture, the viewership of an electron moving inside of an atom at the distance of 250 attoseconds of time. And so the ability of taking that paired concept, that we can now understand the movement of electrons inside of atoms, pairing that with an electrical circuit, we can have two circuits that could be facing each other, and with the knowledge of the triangulation of hitting an electron in a certain part of the transistor of of a circuit, could bounce from the first circuit to the second circuit, and off of that transistor, be able to have a computational means of triangulation of the state changes from circuit to circuit, that'll able to produce computation that could be viable 100,000 times more powerful than we have today. It still doesn't seem digestible enough for myself. It's interesting, because photons, being the means of electrons in mass, truly make up the states of all of the information, or reality that we see. This notion that the photons themselves are energy, I mean, are information, uh, kind of leads us to this thought of energy is information. Information dynamics, being something that I wanted to touch on earlier, but I think we got off on the subject train. But somehow I got myself back on it right now. Being the study of the information that could be traveling inside of these different states of entangled matter, uh, really gives us the significant possibility of understanding the changes of state from one place and time to the next. And with that knowledge, being able to build circuitry that could have communication of a triangulation of photons from one state to the next, that increases computational means of possibility. I actually think that last one was pretty digestible. What do you guys think? Please, somebody stop me.
You got it. You're on point with that. Well,
That was
well, it's a subject I'm well versed in, so I can understand it. So I shouldn't answer it myself. But transistors, I laugh at that word because it reminds me of Zoltan. You know, I'm sorry, I always laugh at it. Even when I read it myself, I laugh. For the word is hilarious.
Yeah, I know, right? Transistors and matrices inside of with oscillating integers of different photonic spins, all of these strange terminologies just to describe different states of electrical currents moving in different formations of reality and matter.
Electrical currents, matter movement, energy is in a lot. a lot of things. Everything around us has energy within it, and being able to study at that level of discovery is below the most basic level of what we can study at the moment, which is what I was sharing with being able to progress with innovation in different research areas, such as being able to study biomass and understand um, the different genetics around it, because it could unlock a lot of different medical discoveries that has yet to be discovered, or discoveries that prove facts of older discoveries, and then that's just one area. And touching with information and computing, and in that area is even more vast, and it's pretty. To me, I have always been interested in such technologies and talks. Good stuff.
So my friend listens to Disney music on the way home, and I listen to quantum physics, science, and tech. And my kids are learning about superposition. This is so awesome. This is the best ride home ever.
That's a colorful ride home. I love that. I love that because I got Abominable Snowman songs in the background with my daughters bouncing, jamming, and then I got charts, different quantum algorithms I've been working on, projects that I've been working on that reads the celestial stars that help, and I'm jamming to some red song. It's some funny stuff. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I don't understand it to the level that you and 808 are at, but I realize I understand more than I think I do because I'll start talking about it, and you're really getting into like deep stuff when there's like just a glaze that comes over their eyes, and then they change the subject to like weather. It's pretty funny.
No joke, Shellfish. I don't. My own family doesn't know that I talk and understand and work and does these types of things. Because when I start talking about it to them, it's just gibberish, and then that's okay with me. Um, and to me, I have to teach myself to explain things to them at a level that they can understand, which is why I always bring in culture into it, because I do a lot of what I do to help implement our culture within it, because our culture is all I'm very strong culturally, and believed in a lot of our indigenous philosophers and teachers knew and understand things that we are working on today, trying to understand better, and comparing the old knowledge and using the new knowledge and stuff like that. And when I bring in stuff that, like I was sharing, how we do our lois and our local eas, how we build and construct them and why they're built that way, I can explain to them and get them to understand quantum theory and all these other different things, by just explaining how our ancestors built the way they built what they did, or why they navigated using the celestial navigation ways and reading the stars, or why they used the moon phases more so than how the sun rose every day and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff. So it's pretty cool. I love it.
That's awesome, 808.
I couldn't agree more. And there's a little thing from I know I read two actually I think I only read one yesterday of part of the article from the Argonne National Laboratory about the single encoded charged electron state, and so I forgot I wanted to read the second part, but you can stop me at any point in the middle of it. And I know you. I'm sorry if you hear my tea in the background. It's almost boiling there, um, but the team's qubits encode quantum information in the electron's emotional charge state, as we've spoken about in this space a few times, right? Being able to try and take a picture of from one state change to the next. And because of that, they are called charged qubits. So, among various existing qubits, an electron charge qubit are especially attractive because of their simplicity in the fabrication and the operation, as well as the compatibility with existing infrastructures for classical computers. And so, without going into the details of who was into it, the project and the research studies, they say this simplicity should translate into low cost in building and running large scale quantum computers. And so this kind of notion of if we're able to view the state change from this atomic level, not only does it mean that we're going to have tenfold of the amount of data that can be processed, but the means of actually producing the technology to do it is also going to become way more accessible and easier to understand to produce. And thinking of something like the CME, which is the Center for Molecular Engineering, something like this going into how 808 was speaking about before with the lidar and the plants, we could start to have simplistic tool sets that could really diagnose and understand everything that could be occurring inside of the plant and why it's occurring from an atomic scale level. Something that just popped in my head. Some people don't know this, but when you speak about quantum computers or quantum computing, there are very large varieties of variations of the way that the actual means of the computation is being done. One, I read a research paper. I posted a video on it. I think a couple weeks ago about a calcium atom that was being used for the state changes inside of a quantum computer, and they were using different gates to triangulate the state change of this calcium atom. And so many different cool techniques that are being discovered. But Shellfish, you got your hand up. Please go ahead.
You know who a perfect person would be to talk about all this is that I think your friend Meeps, right? I think I had a conversation with him about Daytoras and all the plants in the local area around here one time, and I I don't know if he uses lidar, but I'm sure he's aware of it. They have like some apps that'll tell you the different diseases or if you need to feed your plant water or actual nutrients, like what it needs. I don't know. Is that using the lidar already, or that's just kind of guessing with the pictures?
That's kind of guessing with the pictures because of the plant actually tells you through actual observation through hundreds of years of what it actually needs, such as if a plant is nitrogen deficient, you need to add more nitrogen. And how do you do that? Guano, different types of guano, different types of soils. You add different materials into the soil, and stuff like that. Or if it's too much of nitrogen, it will show you that too. Or too much of anything, you have to flush your plant or whatnot. And so in a sense, it's already using already known techniques to answer questions for those who needs them. What I was speaking about how to use lidar and to see diseases is within the plant structure itself, because certain diseases are passed through genetics, yeah, and not other plants will contract that disease. Most of the time, it's just settled to one species, such as our Ohia lehua, which they have a generational disease that spreaded quite severely across the Hawaii, more so on Moku Okeawe, which is a big island. But I was speaking towards lidar using in depth of that sense. But the apps you kind of talking about now, I'm not too sure. I haven't like I said, I haven't used it myself. But the last time I checked in on it, it was really just using information that's already widely known of how plants tell you what it needs and when it needs it. If a plant is drooping, the leaves look like it's sad, and the plant looks sad, and the dirt is dry, and you stick your finger inside the soil and it's dry, and then of course you're gonna need to feed your plant water, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool stuff, cool technology. I forgot I was gonna go with the the because you were explaining before, shellfish, about the different techniques and approaches, which is of quantum computing, and I was gonna go on that. Which, I got it back now. It's like, you have very specific sense, like how Death was explaining, when you're modeling different structures of how you want to get a certain thing done, like within quantum annealing. which is quantum annealers is like a D-wave system, is which is designed to optimize problems to find lowest energy states of a system. And you have others like topological quantum computing, um, which focuses on the topological of the qubits, which are believed to be more robust against certain errors and things like that. And then you can go into other quantum studies with simulations, um, and stuff like that. It's pretty cool because it's very valuable across the board. Yeah, all these different technologies we have different use cases, like with cryptography and blockchain. If it's built a certain way, how it's packaged, it focuses on certain things, but it also is able to be interoperable with other technology around it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more, 808. And going into that further, then you even have qubits, which are when you talk about quantum storage, right? It's like one thing being able to to understand the information of state change, the state change, and use this to be able to having an underlying information transfer and data states. But it's like, how do we store it, right? Like, what kind of storage center? How are we going to store these states, and be able to prove them at a further date? And so, like the thought of a qubit, which is basically a qubit that has been trapped in an oscillated state of a gate. And so, with this form factor of qubits being able to exist in 0 and 1, um, this this different state that has been trapped inside of this oscillated gate, we kind of use this, and they've referenced it as a QDIT to be able to store the bit of information in the sense of computational means. So just super cool. All of the different techniques, and like I mentioned before, there's a calcium atom that's been used in quantum computing to study the state changes and throughout the movement of the atom. Um, there's just so many different techniques, and even you could even have two very similar quantum computers using these different photonic states, and it mean two different representations to the two different systems managers, right? Because they're entangling these states based on the oscillated difference of the integer spin of whatever that electron what may be, or the atom state. And um, with that, um, the information that they have produced that said that this state equals this state for them may not mean the same thing for another engineering system of the way that they've entangled their states on their quantum computer. So I think it really starts to get interesting when you get down to like the fine details of you know computer systems in general, like how we have all these languages that are able to interact with themselves today, the way the internet is built, and we're so
You know
kind of
what's a good representation of what you just explained? Clocks. You got the northern and southern hemisphere. How it's different on each side, but the connectedness within is still the same stuff.
that was an excellent analogy. Yeah, and it's like we're at this pre-stage where we're like, what time is it for you, what time is it for me, and we're like, we're not really sure yet, but eventually we'll get to that point. I think 808, like you kind of referenced, where like we'll all have like clocks where we'll understand the differences in time zones, and so the information could then be really distributed and understood. And that's man, that the potential of computation in the means of hundreds of thousands of times stronger than what we have today in a distributed manner through encrypted means of systems and architecture. That this is, I think this is the internet of value, and the internet of its future that we're going to see very soon. But with that, this has been an awesome conversation. So cool, Rose. You stayed as a speaker the entire time, so that's pretty cool. Love to see it. But I think I've spoken a lot today. I feel like my throat is a little dry, so I'm like, oh, I gotta go drink some tea and some water, and maybe listen to another space of other individuals speaking. But I really do. I appreciate everybody who's came to the space. 808, you always give such great information, man. Shellfish, Rose, everybody who came as a listener and a speaker who I haven't mentioned. I love you all. I hope everybody has a great rest of the night. We will probably be back Thursday, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, maybe 4 o'clock. I'm already on a seemingly thinking maybe 4 o'clock might be a little bit nicer for us because I'm not rushing and I've been able to distribute a great amount of information in the matter of an hour. So I think it makes sense. But either way, have a great night, everybody.
Always love it. Aloha, everybody. Thanks, Death. Appreciate everyone's thoughts and knowledge and sharing. Always. Aloha.